Right now, you are sitting in a corporate office in Dubai, Riyadh, or Bangalore. You are executing at absolute apex of your capability. You are driving cross-functional projects, integrating artificial intelligence into your workflows, and saving your company millions in operational friction. Yet, when the annual promotion cycle arrives, you are completely overlooked. A less competent, highly political colleague gets a director title. You think your boss hates you. You think you need to improve your soft skills or play the office politics game better. You are entirely wrong. Your problem is not biological, it is architectural. Your actual achievements never reach the decision maker dashboards because you are trapped inside a failing, obsolete digital infrastructure. Before we break down the exact mathematical framework to bypass this digital graveyard and force the system to recognize your leverage, hit the subscribe button and press the notification bell. I post daily videos showing you exactly how to navigate the global labor market using cold, hard engineering logic. You do not want to miss these blueprints. Today, we are speaking directly to the HR directors, the talent architects, and the high-performance professionals navigating the India-UAE corporate corridor. We are exposing the greatest silent career killers in the 2026 enterprise, HR technical debt. We are going to break down how legacy systems are actively erasing your merit, why outdated ERPs are a compliance trap, and how you can weaponize the modern visibility tool to shatter the invisible ceiling. Grab a notebook, it is time to stop blaming office politics and start hacking the database. Welcome back, I'm Dr. HR. I hold a PhD in Human Resources, a Master's in HR from prestigious Tata Institute of Social Sciences in Mumbai, and a Bachelor's in Computer Engineering. I do not look at human resources as a people function. I look at it as a systems engineering problem. I view the corporate talent through the lens of the data architecture, supply demand, and structural leverage. Operating on the ground here in Dubai since 2010, consulting for apex corporate entities and a massive global capability center, the GCCs in India, I have seen exactly how institutional algorithms calculate value. And more importantly, I know exactly how those algorithms fail. The corporate world is suffering from a massive delusion. Executives believe they operate in a meritocracy. They do not. They operate in a database constraint. If your merit cannot be passed, stored, and retrieved by the database, your merit does not exist. Let us dismantle the legacy system that are holding you back. Phase 1. The invisible ceiling in the database. To understand why you are not getting promoted, you must understand how your performance is tracked in a multi-billion-dollar enterprise. In 2026, the modern performance is dynamic. You're working in agile pods, you're executing cross-departmental sprints, you're deploying LLMs, the large language models, to optimize supply chains and marketing pipelines simultaneously. Your impact is real-time, non-linear, and highly complex. But where is that performance recorded? It is recorded in a static, monolithic human capital management, the HCM system, whose foundational architecture was designed in the late 1990s. This creates HR technical debt is implied cost of additional rework caused by choosing an easy, limited IT solutions. Now, instead of using a better approach that would have taken longer, over the last 20 years, corporations patched together different software modules, one for payroll, one for performance review, one for learning management. These modules do not speak the same language. The APIs are broken, the data is siloed. When your HR or CHRO opens their executive dashboard to identify the top 1% of the talent for succession planning, they look at a mirage. The dashboard only pulls the data that the legacy system knows how to measure. Tenure, attendance, a highly subjective 1 to 5 Likert scale from your annual performance review, your ability to architect a massive operational pivot using meta-negative prompting. The database does not have a field for that. Your ability to deploy Socratic interrogation to fix a failing team dynamic, the database cannot quantify it. You have hit the invisible ceiling in the database. You are frustrated because you are being overlooked. But you must transition from emotional frustration to structural analysis. You are not being ignored by a human, your data packets were simply dropped by the router before it reached the executive suite. Phase 2. The compliance trap of legacy ERPs. We must dig deeper into the code. Why are these systems so structurally inadequate for the 2026 labor market? It is because the enterprise resource planning, the ERP systems, The massive oracles and the SAPs that run legacy corporations were never built for the talent discovery. They were built for legal compliance and risk mitigation. In regions with highly complex labor laws like the UAE with emigrarization quotas, WPS and new labor decree, and India with massive provident fund, taxations and state-level labor compliance, the HR software was purchased specifically to keep the company out of the rigidity of the data fields. Compliance systems require rigid binary data. You are either present or absent. You are either a manager level 3 or a director level 1. But the skills required to dominate the 2026 corporate landscape are fluid and nuanced. How does a legacy ERP capture adaptation velocity? Your ability to learn a completely new technological frameworks from scratch in 6 weeks. It cannot. If you are a mid-level professional in a Bangalore tech hub and you spend 3 months cross-training the finance team on how to use AI for predictive analytics, you have generated a massive ROI for the company. But in the ERP system, your job title is software engineer too. The system literally lacks the semantic parameter to categorize cross-functional leadership. When promotion cycle begins, the HR department runs a query. The query asks the rigid database, show me the employees who have been software engineer level 2 for 36 months and have a performance rating of 4 or higher. The system pulls the employees who survive the longest without causing trouble. It actively filters out the aggressive, high-velocity innovators who do not fit cleanly into a drop-down menu. This is a compliance trap. By prioritizing risk mitigation, the legacy architecture actively distorts the perception of your professional value. It rewards passive survival and penalizes dynamic impact. Phase 3. The algorithmic erasure of merit. In the last 2 years, executives realized their talent pipelines are failing. To fix it, they brought shiny new AI analytical tools and bolted them onto the legacy ERPs. This created an even more dangerous phenomenon, the algorithmic erasure of merit. In systems engineering, we have a log, garbage in, garbage out. If you train a sophisticated AI model on a legacy database filled with rigid, compliance-based, flattened performance metric, the AI will not magically discover your hidden genius. It will simply automate the bias of the old system at a much higher velocity. The flattening effect. When you sit down for an annual performance review, you might have a deeply nuanced conversation with your manager about your strategic vision. But at the end of the meeting, your manager has to open the HR portal and select a number from a drop-down menu. Your entire year of complex, non-linear career progression is flattened into a single integer, a 3, a 4, or a 5. When the new automated filtering tool scans the database for leadership potential, they look at these flattened integers. They look for sequential markers of traditional tenure. They look at your degree. If your career was non-linear, if you executed a massive skill arbitrage pivoting from IT to strategic HR, the algorithm flags your profile as unstable or inconsistent. This is where the true crisis exists for HR professionals and candidate alike. The algorithm erases your merit because your merit does not look like a historical average. And as we discussed in our masterclass on meta-negative prompting, if you do not actively constrain an AI, it will always gravitate toward the statistical average. The statistical average of a legacy corporate database is a mediocre employee who stays in their lane and never disrupt the status quo. You must sift from mourning the automated loss of your data to understand the urgent, uncompromising need for a new visibility framework. You must bypass the internal machine. Phase 4. Weaponizing modern visibility tools. If the internal database is rigged against you, you must stop trying to optimize your profile within it. You must architect a shadow profile. You must weaponize external visibility tools to force the internal decision makers to recognize your leverage. If you are a high-performing employee or if you are a strategic HR director trying to bypass your own company's broken tech stack to find the real talent, you must execute the following protocol. Step 1. The third-party intelligence bypass. Do not rely on your company's internal intranet or a talent profile page. The C-suite does not look at it. The C-suite look at the open market. You must build your definitive professional architecture on external open graph platform like LinkedIn or specialized digital portfolio. You must treat your external profile as a high-density data payload. This is where we deploy the token injection strategy. You must embed high-weight architectural keywords into your public profiles so that when executive headhunters or your own company's internal recruiter using LinkedIn Recruiter run queries, your profile ranks in the 99th percentile. Step 2. The Socratic proof of work. You cannot just list your skills. You must prove your cognitive architecture. You must regularly publish structural teardown of industrial problem. Use the Socratic interrogation method publicly. The execution. Write a post or a white paper analyzing a current crisis in your industry. Example, the failure of legacy supply chain in the Red Sea. Do not just provide a generic summary. Ask the piercing, devastating questions. Why are we treating this as a logistic failure when it is clearly a localized data latency issue? What happens to the procurement model if we assume the disruption is permanent? When you publish Socratic friction, you signal to the market and to the executives in your own company who are secretly reading your public feed that you operate at an apex strategic level that internal HR database cannot measure. Step 3. The shadow of dashboard for HR leaders. If you are an HR director in Dubai or India, you are facing a crisis. Your CEO wants a list of top 50 future leaders by Friday, and you know your SAP or Oracle system is going to give you a list of 50 mediocre survivors. You must build a shadow dashboard. You must extract the raw data, the Slack communication metadata, the Jira ticket completion velocities, the cross-functional GitHub commit, and you must run it through a secure ring-fence LLM. You deploy a strict meta-negative prompt. You are an elite talent architect. Analyze this raw operational metadata. Do not look at employees' tenure. Do not look at the formal titles. Do not use the official performance rating. Map the informal network. Show me 5 employees who are the most frequently sought out by other departments to solve complex, undocumented edge cases. Rank them by cross-functional resolution speed. You bypass the compliance trap. You find the actual neural nodes of your company. You bring that list to the CEO, and you fundamentally disrupt the organizational hierarchy. Phase 5. The future of frictionless advancement. We are standing at a precipice in the global labor market. The companies that survive the next decade will be the ones that violently dismantle their legacy HR tech debt. We are witnessing the rise of the open architecture, skill-based ontological frameworks. The next generation of HR technology does not care about your job title is. It maps your capability in real time. It analyzes the code you write, the strategy document you draft, and the operational bottleneck you solve. And it updates your internal value continuously. In this new paradigm, advancement becomes frictionless. You do not wait 12 months for a subjective conversation with the manager. Your compensation and your authority scales dynamically as your verifiable output scales. But when that system is fully deployed across the Middle East and Indian subcontinent, you must protect yourself. The tech stack negotiation. When you are negotiating a promotion or a new executive role, you must stop negotiating just for salary. You must negotiate for structural authority. You look the CEO in the eye and say, I will take the role of a VP of operations, but I refuse to inherit the technical depth of your current reporting structure. I require the budget authority to deploy a localized AI-driven talent intelligence platform for my division. If I cannot accurately measure the adaptation velocity of my team, I cannot guarantee the ROI you are demanding. Demanding better internal tools is no longer an IT request. It is a critical career negotiation. If a company forces you to manage elite talent using 2012 database, they are setting you up for an executive failure. Closely at the mechanics of your career trajectory. If you are waiting for a legacy system to recognize your brilliance, you will die waiting. The database was not built for you. It was built for compliance. It was built to minimize risk, and true executive talent is inherently risky to the status quo. You must stop relying on internal machine. You must become the architect of your own visibility. If you are a professional, weaponize your external profile. Inject the high-weight tokens, deploy Socratic friction to prove your cognitive dominance publicly. If you are an HR leader, stop defending the broken ERP. Build the shadow dashboards. Use meta-negative prompting to strip away the tenure bias and find the real operator who are keeping your company alive. The collapse of the legacy corporate system is inevitable. Do not let your career collapse with them. Process the data, execute the strategy, and I'll see you at the top.